Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart, joined by Brian Leonard at B. Leonard Sports on Twitter and Eddie Boron at Eddie Boron on Twitter. Make sure you're giving both guys a follow. So a question we get often is, Kelly, what's your favorite sports book? Brian, what's your favorite sports book? Eddie, tell us where I need to go when I'm in Vegas. And so we all have our favorite spots, and we're all a little different. Brian, I'm going to start with you. Tell me your favorite sports book in Las Vegas and why.
Whichever sports book has the best line on the game I'm going to bet.
Ooh.
If you're looking for which ones I like to visit the Westgate and the M because there's no smoking in the sports book.
That is my favorite thing about the Westgate as well.
As for anything else, I really don't care because I don't sit in the sports book and watch the games unless I'm meeting somebody for dinner or a meeting. I bet on my apps. If I'm out and about, I'll put a bet in there. But really, to me, it's whoever's got the best line. That's all that matters to me, and who takes the better limits and who has the most things we can bet on. And normally, that's South Point and Westgate. So that's what I look for.
Okay. Eddie, your favorite sports book in Vegas?
I personally like William Hill.
Okay.
And the reason I like William Hill...
Wait. So, like, this is funny to me because you're not booted from William Hill.
No,
I mean,
no.
that's like the big thing. I remember Teddy Cover said, Cal, what are you complaining about? Like, it's like a badge of honor to get booted from William Hill because I was so mad that I got booted when in reality I didn't think I did anything wrong.
No,
How are you not booted?
I'm not booted from Five Dimes neither. And the reason being is I've worked for some people who told me exactly how you don't get booted. I mean,
Okay.
you play some of the odd even, throw in some teasers that involve, an over-under, a side and a total. I mean, immediately you're going to be put on a sheet that they're going to watch you.
You do know if anybody from William Hill's watching this video, you'll be gone next week.
I know.
and now he's booted. No, but in a serious note, so you kind of, that's like your little trick to not get booted. You throw in some stuff to kind of throw people off.
Right. Now, some books in this town,
The reason why I did like William Hill's because they had some of the square lines.
Yeah.
You know, they'd offer 6.5 when everybody else around town had a 6. And so how could you not pick off a bad line?
In reality, it's good that we have William Hill in town as long as you're not a big bettor.
Okay.
If you're a guy who's betting a couple $100 or less, William Hill's great because you're right, they do have that situation. And Nick Bogdanovich is the guy in charge. I like Nick.
I like Nick too.
His hands are tied for what he can do.
Correct.
But they put out a lot of things around town that other places don't. And I don't want to cut you off, but I got to make one point. Caesar's Harrah's used to be the worst in town. Ever since Lindemann has gone over there, Lindemann worked for him, or he worked for Cantor. He left as a professional bettor. So he's been on both sides. Now he's at Caesar's. Caesar's is one of the best books out there, and I don't think in my lifetime I'd ever be able to say that.
Wow. All right, Eddie. Another sports book you really enjoy here in town?
Well, when it comes to if you're going to wager, if you have to wager, big amounts of money, then you're going to go Westgate and you're going to the M or even MGM for certain plays. They don't put enough up, in my opinion. But in there, you can't help. I mean, I've put wagers down for people. In that case, you can't stay under the radar, so you immediately get burnt. But on my own, I can stay under the radar. I don't have to bet maxes and all that. But those are basically the only two in town. In South Point.
I enjoy South Point. We've had Chris Andrews in here a couple times.
South Point gives you great stuff. I do want to point out, if you're betting on the apps, Stations gives you comps, Westgate gives you comps, and now Caesars gives you comps.
Ooh, Caesars is doing comps now.
Caesars is doing comps
okay, great.
now. I believe it's $500 you get 1 point or something. But it's still something where if you're playing at some of their places, you don't get any comps at all. I mean, that was the problem with Cantor all along, was they took the big bets. You didn't get drink tickets because they were renting out the space, and you didn't get comps. And that was, a lot of people like to have a beer, try to bet over at the Wynn and get a beer. You got to bet $500 before they even think about giving you a beer.
Yeah, Eddie, you bet at Stations a lot as well, right? I noticed in your notes you said you really enjoyed Red Rock, at least for the atmosphere and probably also for the comps.
Yeah, you get good comps there. I mean, you can literally put money in and they give you comps. I mean, I could turn around and go home, make that bet, and go back up there and put money in again. And they're considerate like that. But the real reason I like Red Rock is, they're like less than a mile from my house.
Oh, well, then that makes it easy.
And it's a beautiful sports book.
It is very nice, and it's a nice casino as well.
Good clientele over there.
Yep.
I mean, it's in a
great restaurants, and there's
richer
other things to
area
it.
of town, so you don't have the problems you have at the Westgate and some of the other ones.
Don't worry,
down
John Murray.
on the Strip.
I don't have a security guard that doesn't know my name at the Westgate. Let me be really honest with you. They want to make sure I don't get kidnapped over there on that side of town. But in all seriousness, thanks, guys. Tuesday is always $2 Tuesday, and you get the hottest handicapper at WagerTalk's best bet for just $2.